one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I believe it's Vanessa's turn to open us in a prayer.
I will take a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now roll call of Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Mr. Culberson.
Here.
Mr. Smith. Here. I'm here. And here. All commissioners are present and accounted for. We will now move on to public comment. I don't read this every week, but I will today, I guess. Public comments shall be allowed at the beginning of each meeting and open again at the end of the meeting after all regularly scheduled agenda items. Comments shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. However, commenters may speak for up to 5 minutes at both the beginning and the end of each meeting. There should be no expectation of interaction by the Commission during this time. Everyone wishing to make comment either on items on the agenda or not are encouraged to provide their comments in writing no later than 8 a.m. on Monday immediately preceding the meeting. These comments will be included in the agenda packet for everyone to access and review. This allows the Commission to have time to fully consider input and request a follow-up if needed prior to the meeting. During times when the courthouse is closed to the general public, anyone wishing to make public comment will provide their comments in writing no later than 8 a.m. the Monday immediately preceding the meeting. The comments will be included and distributed with the normal meeting packet. And so now we will open the time of public comment. If there's anyone that desires to make a public comment, please come forward, state your name and your address.
Good morning, Commissioner. Tyler Romans, 404 Rock Creek, Tonganoxie, Kansas.
Good morning.
Commissioners, I come before you today to join a chorus of voices that have spoken up against data centers instead of Leavenworth County. Unlike those other voices, I am not originally from Tonganoxie nor originally from Kansas. Me and my wife have traveled the world and across the United States, and all around me serving the United States military, and my wife as a traveling nurse. I say that to say this: we chose Tonganoxie and we chose Leavenworth County. We chose this area specifically because of its rural environment and the good people that we found here and the enterprising nature of their spirit and hospitality. I say that to say this: we had a choice. We could have chosen to live where my peers live further out in Kansas City. We could have chosen to live closer to work in Topeka. I could have stayed in Lawrence, and I chose Tonganoxie because of what it is and what I believe it can be in the future. To those ends, I implore you, Commissioners, to maintain Tonganoxie how it is, a place where people can grow and the families can grow and raise, and we can be entrepreneurs, and we are supporting the people, not the profits, and not external factors trying to exploit wealth out of the community and instead building governance inside of it. I cede my time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further public comment? Jim?
Good morning. Jim Karlskin, 24542 Cantrell Road in Tonganoxie. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. I'm here to speak with you about the hyperscale data center proposed for the Tonganoxie area. If there is going to be a decision about a hyperscale data center in Tonganoxie, I suggest we compare it honestly to what's already been built in the Midwest, in Nebraska, Iowa, and Wisconsin. During the Tyson issue, Commissioner Dove and I served in the Kansas House of Representatives. At the time, Commissioner Dove and others traveled to Kentucky to see other chicken plants that was being built. I'm aware a few of the Tonganoxie residents visited Omaha earlier this week to visit a few of the 21 data centers located in the Omaha Council Bluffs area. In the Omaha metro area, companies like Meta and Google built data center campuses, but they did it under very specific conditions. The Meta campus in Sparrow County isn't a single building, it's a multi-purpose, multi-million square foot industrial campus over 100 acres, eventually growing past 2.6 million towards 3.6 million. The key difference: it was situated in existing industrial zones, it was paired with dedicated renewable energy, including hundreds of megawatts of wind power, and it was integrated into a region that had already many data centers and grid capacities to support them. In other words, Nebraska didn't drop a hyperscale project into the edge of a rural community it built an ecosystem first. Even with this, Omaha had plans to retire a coal-fired power plant. They were unable to do so because of the increased demand for electricity and data centers. In Iowa, just across the river in Council Bluffs, there's been the highest concentration of data centers in the country. Iowa has done several things with respect to data centers. Iowa aligned three things before approving growth: excess wind energy generation, transmission infrastructure, and statewide tax and selling policy consistencies. That's why companies clustered there. It's not random, it was planned. And importantly, these facilities are typically located in industrial corridors near infrastructures and transmission lines, not in small towns without the backbone. In Wisconsin, the places like Beloit, even proposed data center like the one being explored, are being situated on hundreds of acres of designated development land with pre-development agreements and infrastructure planning before final approval. Port Washington is another spot in Wisconsin. It's a small town. It's being taken advantage of, quite frankly. There's a horror show taking place there of the construction that's going on, and it was a cloverleaf developed project. Where they are going things correctly, they plan first, zone appropriately, build where infrastructure already exists. Now let's compare all of that to Tonganoxie. Tonganoxie is not Omaha. It is not Council Bluffs. It is not pre-established data corridor center. What's being proposed here is fundamentally different. A hyperscale data center, power demand of potentially hundreds of megawatts in a rural area without existing data center clusterings, without proven dedicated energy generation tied directly to the project, and without the decades of infrastructure layering that Nebraska and Iowa already have. That's not what these states do. That's not how these states do it. They didn't start with the biggest project. They grew into it. My question this morning is, are we following the Midwest model of planned, phased infrastructure first development, or are we being asked to approve something out of scale, out of sequence, and out of place? If approved, a hyperscale data center would fundamentally change the community of Tonganoxie from a beautiful, livable community to an industrial nightmare. Because one hyperscale data center lands, it doesn't stay one. It becomes two, then five, then a quarter. That's exactly what happened in Omaha, and this is not about anti-growth, it's about pro-growth. Nebraska and Iowa have shown us the blueprint. Industrial setting, infrastructure alignment, phased expansion, and strong local control. Can this project meet these standards? If it can't, then the reasonable choice is to pause, study, and plan for the Tonganoxie community is committed to a path that is impossible to reserve. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Further public comments? All right. Seeing none, we will move on. Administrative business, and we'll start with the county clerk's report.
Morning.
Good morning. In January, the Secretary of State's office sent out a notice to all counties that we could apply for a security grant for elections. So Dave and I got together and we come up with a few different things that we could benefit from. Sorry about that. So, anyways, we came up with a few things. As far as I was concerned, I needed maybe some more security cameras, some blocking ballot security bags to transport from the election office to polling sites or to our election workers. And Dave came up with some things, and I'll let him explain because I don't have a clue what cyber hygiene test is or any of that good stuff.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners. As Fran was saying, we came up with some things that we can do to better help the elections. So some of those things were our cybersecurity networks. Fran has tablets for elections that are hooked to our network, and so they run through our firewalls. So we're asking to get a procurement of managed firewall services for the election-related network, which there's VLAN separately from the rest of our network. We also talked about contracting third-party penetration testing companies to come in and make sure that we get audited every year to make sure that our network is safe. And I think that's the main things that we were centering in on.
We, our total grant we applied for was $46,150, and we were awarded all of that grant. That being said, 90% of everything that we purchase will be reimbursed to us by the state. So for less than $5,000, we're going to get $46,000 worth of security items. And that's just what we wanted to let you know this morning.
Okay, what action do we need to take?
You don't need to take any action. We were just telling you, informing you what we were moving forward with.
Okay.
Some of the cyber testing that he's doing and some of the things that we will be purchasing. And like I said, it'd be about $5,000 between Dave and I. I think we can cover that in our budgets.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate all the efforts you've made.
Does the county administrator need to weigh in on this?
No, I just wanted to, the good job getting the grants, and it is
Just
within it is within the clerk's authority, so it's just an informational only.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's good. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Administrative business, Mr. Lottery. You have nothing? Okay, then I'll go with Commissioner Reed. Commissioner Culvers. Mr. Smith. No. I don't have anything. Do you have anything?
I attended the 2nd Congressional District voting training that was put on by the Americans for Prosperity, and just informative, just let individuals know that we have spoken about the pardon me, about the lack of participation that we're getting from our voters. And that was very inspiring to see that we do have individuals that are out there looking to increase that voter participation. And it went very well. It was attended by several leaders in the community, and just got my eye.
Very educational.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got the commissioner was there
I'm
also.
sitting right behind
me.
Keep an eye on you. Yeah. But you're right, Commissioner. It was eye-opening on some things too that I wasn't aware of, as far as
Both of us.
yeah. So it was good.
Yeah.
Very good. Moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Second.
There's a motion on the floor to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there discussion? No discussion. Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
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 All right. Moving on, formal board action. Consider a motion to approve the 5-year capital plan for road and bridge improvement projects. Mr. Knoll.
That's one bill.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today for your consideration is the 5-year capital improvement plan for the Road and Bridge Department. This plan, as we had stated before, is a very comprehensive plan, and as you can see from your spreadsheets, it encompasses approximately $93 million worth of work. We did total up the projects at the bottom so you can see which funds are paying for which projects. And it encompasses $34 million in sales tax, $24,622,000 worth of mill levied funds, $32,680,000 worth of grants, and then the township funds, which are collected as part of building permits in our individual township designated funds. And so it totaled $93,915,000 over the course of that 5 years. As requested by the board last time, there was some additional information that was requested that has been provided. There was a request for a breakdown of the road network by district and by township for gravel versus paved roads that articulates the type of surfacing that is on these roadways. It also included a gravel road traffic count map that provides the gravel road traffic counts throughout the county. We do these traffic counts on a bi-yearly basis and split the county in half. And so we will do the north half one year and the south half the next year, but we try to pick up every single crossroad intersection segment of roadway on a biannual basis. And so there's a very comprehensive map with those traffic counts that was included. Third, I was asked to provide a recommendation. That recommendation, like I stated in the last meeting, would be based on maintenance, and it is included in your packet. With that, I'll stop. Be happy to answer any questions about projects or the recommendation or any other aspect of the 5-year CIP.
Okay, we'll start with questions. Commissioner Reed.
No.
Commissioner Culberson.
I don't have any questions right now.
Mr. Smith.
Questions right now.
I don't have anything.
I don't have any questions right now.
All right. So, how does the body wish to proceed?
Well, Jeff wants to talk, so I would like to make a motion that the CIP 5-year plan that we look at includes more roads in my district and Vanessa's district. The reason I say that is because if you can look at this map that I've prepared for the last couple of years, it shows. And also I can give you a handout of how much the county has spent in each district paving gravel roads. So if you look at that map, you can see one clear thing is most of the roads that were paved were not in my district or Vanessa's district. The reason I'm including Vanessa's district because it used to be my district. So when that was my district was the least paved district of all the commission districts over the last 30 years. So what I'm asking for is to fix that. We can do that with this next 5-year plan. We can catch up my district and make it fair. Pave some roads in my district and a couple in Vanessa's district until we get even with how many you paved in the south. So before we switched it, the building permits included a RIF and a TIF. The TIF was a traffic improvement fee. The RIF was a road improvement fee. They were taking the RIFs and the TIFs from my district and paving roads in the south. Same thing with the sales tax and property tax. Mark, when we pave a road anywhere in the county, we pave a road, a gravel road. Where do we get the money from to do that?
Well, Commissioner, first on the RIF and TIF, to my knowledge, the money was always spent in the townships because it was tracked and spent in the townships where it was collected.
It wasn't until I brought it up. So I brought it up and said, you can't spend money in one district and use it in another district. So I had them change the rules.
Since 2017, I can tell you it has been. Before 2017, I can't tell you it was.
That's right. But prior to 17.
But since then, it was always tracked and spent in the townships.
That's
the
right.
sales tax is collected, the way county sales tax works, the sales tax is collected countywide. Everybody in the county pays the sales tax, and then there's a calculation that the state uses as to what goes to the cities and what goes to the county. So the 1 cent sales tax that the county has in place for roads is levied on everybody, including people who live in the city. Then the state calculation gives the city their share, which is approximately 56% of the sales tax that's collected countywide goes back to the cities individually. Then the 44% that's left is what goes into our CIP, basically what you're seeing right now, most of the funding that goes into the CIP. So it's collected countywide and then spent via the CIP.
So it's collected countywide, so people in my district are paying for that to pave a gravel road.
It's collected countywide, so people in the city of Leavenworth, which would be the primary collection point, and then people in the city of Lansing, Basser, Tonganoxie all pay. People in the rural area all pay, and then it's spent via the CIP.
So if we paved a road in the south, the money for that road came from also people in the north, right?
Well, true of all of our taxes, and sales tax and property tax.
But as you can see by the map, the people in the north are paying that, but they're not getting what they're paying for. And so I'm just asking to fix this. I don't understand how you can look at that map and see that it's not fair. That me and Vanessa's district has not got the same amount of paved roads as they have in the south. And I know they went by traffic count. I understand that. But you get to a certain point where traffic count needs to be trumped by who's paying for it. So
Excuse me, Commissioner, what percentage do you feel has been put toward the CIP that those roads are not getting?
Say that again.
What percentage of the taxes are being paid by that district that they're not getting?
None. My district is paying the taxes but not getting any roads. Is that what your question is?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out what your question is.
Yes.
And this shows that. So this shows the money that we spent in the last 30 years. You spent $6 million in my district, but $30 million in District 5, $22 million in District 4, almost $15 million in District 2, which is one of the leads, and $11 million in District 2. So I don't understand how I can show you any more over the last 30 years how you've shorted the people in the north from paving the road.
I see you that District 3, which is my district, and I can see why, because we have more paved roads than any other district. And also Commissioner Smith, the district, is adjoined to that. So I'm trying to figure out why you think that those paved roads don't need to be maintained when they're actually the intro to other roads in the county.
I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying the way that this has worked out is my district has been shorted millions of dollars. And I'm just asking to make that fair.
Just a question for County Administrator, for the new members. Could you give us a background of how we transitioned from one program for roads to a new program for roads, and why some of this paving happened as it did?
Well, Commissioners, I think what you're referring to is the Participatory Road Program, the PRP, that was in place for decades, and then it went away in 2017, I believe, 2018, somewhere in there. And that program required that, or it allowed for people to come in and apply to have their road paved. So what happened is anybody who lived along that road had to participate. That's why it was called the PRP, Participatory Road. So if you got 100% of the people who lived along the road to sign up, then you would be eligible for county funding. Now, they didn't pave every road as soon as it came on. It's as funds became available. So they set aside a certain amount each year, and once they got enough money, they would go in and pave those roads. But the requirement was you had to have 100% of the people on your road sign up. A lot of people would get up to the 75 to 80% ratio, but never hit the 100%. So when the county commission at the time decided to end that program, they said anybody who is currently eligible, we're going to go ahead and pave those roads. So any plans, any of those areas that had 100% sign-up participation were paved. The ones that didn't have 100% at that time had 90 days to get to 100%. I'm pretty sure it was 90 days. I could go back and find the exact date. But the board said, notify these people. So we sent letters saying, your program is at risk. You have these 90 days to get everybody signed up. The ones that did not get to the 100% threshold were dropped and weren't paved. And that's some of the ones that you've heard people come in and say, we were on the program. They were signed up, but they never reached the threshold. So a lot of the roads in the south that were paved were part of the old PRP, and the board at the time decided to pave them because they were at 100%. So that's where the dust abatement. Now the road projects is different, and I think that's what Jeff is kind of referring to right now. The road project is different. That's a different process. That's the CIP. The dust abatements were never part of the CIP until now. They were just done as part of the old PRP program.
So in other words, it might not have been a conscious decision by a board. It may have been the fact that they were transitioning from one program to another program, and they just happened to have the 100% signed up, is why some of the roads were paved.
For the dust abatement program.
For the dust abatement.
That is the way it works. But that's not the case for the other projects which are in the CIP.
And where did the money come from for those PRP projects?
It was through
It was the sales tax
Sales
fund.
tax.
So we have paved, since I have been here in 6 years, we have paved well over 60 miles of road. And at no point did the board ever vote for a location of those roads to be paved. They were either privately funded or they were part of the old 2018 participatory road program that was based on like 100% participation. So the 62 miles of road that, or 65 or whatever we're up to now of roads that have been paved were, up until these last two budgetary cycles, were still part of either privately funded dust abatements or the old 2018 participatory road program. And that program has now been closed.
So either way, though, either program, the PRP or the one we're talking about today, where did the people in the north pay for the roads paved in the south?
People throughout the entire county paid for those roads.
Including people in the north.
Every
You're
county,
trying to skirt around the question.
no, every county resident had an equal opportunity to sign up for the PRP program.
So everybody in the county paid for the roads, but do you see from the map that everybody in the county got roads? No.
So we're talking about the dust abatement, not
Both. They're both. The same problem. The dust abatement was the same thing. People in the north paid for dust abatement programs that were used in the south. The CIP is using money from the north and paving roads in the south. They both use money from the north to pay for roads in the south. I'm asking.
However, the fact is that we have a $15 million project on County Road 30 that directly benefits the north.
Mm-hmm.
So that's $15 million that's being spent. Last year, we spent money to do a separate road project up north, which was intended to offset some of this balance.
That's right.
But
now you want to stop.
But I'm not saying we want to stop it. I'm just saying that we did.
That was headed in the right direction.
Well, the problem is you have to balance all the different factors, and some of the factors include where the economic growth is, where the population is growing. You have to take those factors into account, as well as the factors of how much of different townships are paved currently compared to other townships. You have to take that into account. So I think the board is trying to balance these things, and we also have areas of the county where we're having to drive a road grader for miles and miles in order to do a quarter-mile section. Then that's not efficient. So there's a lot of different things to balance.
Why did we change the roof and the TIF to be spent within the same township that it's collected? Why did we do that?
Which was in 2017, before any of these.
Yeah. So again, I think as far as I knew, that had always happened, but it was done as part of the process. I think it was required by policy actually that it be done. So you do that because they were improving roads and projects within the district where the impact fee, because those were called road impact fees, so they were applied towards the roads in that area. Now the TIF was different, but the RIF was spent in those towns.
Yeah, that all occurred well before Mark or I were either here, and they were collected in the townships. When I was here, there was township funds, and they were being used in the townships that they were collected in. Now, from a director's staff perspective, I don't look at districts. I honestly don't look at districts. I look at the maintenance of the roadways, like I said last week, and I look at our county road network. We are a county unit system, and so how we maintain this system is very important to me as a department director in looking at all of our bridges and all of our roads and the sufficiency ratings and the different aspects of what it takes to maintain this network, because we have 785 miles or thereabout of roads. And so we look at it from a staff perspective. I look at it as a county unit. Commissioner districts will change as population growths occur. After the last census, there was other ways that commissioner districts could have been laid out that would have changed commissioner district boundaries. And then we did have changes of commissioner district boundaries. And then we have some commissioner districts that encompass a third or more of our roadway network versus others that incorporate the city of Leavenworth and the city of Lansing. So I think as you see a shift to more urban core development and the cities continue to grow, commissioner districts in some areas are going to continue to shrink. And so we look at it from a perspective of what is going to maintain this network as a whole, and that is what I based the recommendation on for maintenance.
And your recommendation is?
It's in the packet. I can read it. Staff's recommendation is to pay the roadways in District 4. Staff's recommendation is based on improving operational efficiency and reducing long-term maintenance costs through continuity of maintenance operations. Currently, they have 3 remaining gravel roadways in District 4 east of Lansing that are isolated from the county's broader gravel road network. Maintaining these segments requires dedicated trips by grading equipment from the shop, including crossing K7 highway, resulting in increased travel time, fuel usage, labor costs, and lower service levels than comparable gravel roadways that are closely connected to the greater gravel road network. By servicing these roadways through the dust abatement program, the county would eliminate all remaining gravel roads east of K7 and within District 4. This would streamline maintenance operations, reduce the need for specialized gravel road maintenance activities, and improve overall efficiency in both routine maintenance and snow removal. Over time, these operational efficiencies are expected to reduce maintenance costs and improve resource allocation.
And that was something that I asked for. And just to state, last year when we did the one in North One, I totally supported Commissioner Culbertson getting that road done. I do have a problem, though, with what past county commissioners did, and whether it was fair or not, and numbers lie, and liars use numbers, as I've been told many times. But I know we did talk about doing Lansing's District 4, or District 4 last year, because it would save us some things. And I was the one that asked for a recommendation, because that includes 127th, 131st, and Markson. And also, it's close to Commissioner his area, and it just saves, to me it looked like, that by no means says I want to not give District 1 a good look at anything, but my recommendation, in fact my motion would be to the motion would be to pay the road at District 4 as Bill has recommended, and that's 127th, 131st, and Markson Road.
And there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
So I'm not finished yet.
Just a minute. There's a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, now there's a motion on the floor. Commissioner Culbertson, you're recognized.
So I'm still waiting for an answer to my question. When we changed the RIF and the TIF to stay within the township, the reason we did that was because the commission saw it's not fair to spend money paid by people in the north on roads in the south, right?
I wasn't here when that was done. I think that's a reasonable assumption that it was to be spent where it was collected. And
so why is it okay to spend property tax and sales tax paid by people in the north on roads in the south? You're saying it's not okay to use RIF and TIF money out of the township. If it's paid in the township, use it in the township, because then it benefits the local people. Why is it okay to still take sales tax and property tax from people in the north and spend it in the south? We're showing you that for the last 30 years there's been an imbalance of how they've done this. I'm asking you to fix it.
How much what percentage do you think is reasonable?
Look at the map and tell me. I don't know.
Well, you're the one asking. So
I'd say until it looks even.
it's never going to be even, because you have more dust abatement that needs to be done there in other counties, in other districts. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you think it's close? I mean, can't we head that direction to make it more fair? Maybe it'll never be fair.
Well,
but paving more roads in the south at this point is just making it worse.
I understand that from previous conversation is that you want to be entire $500,000 set for District 1. Am I incorrect in that?
The how much?
$500,000 would be
the dust abatement, $500,000 per year for the next 5 years in the north until it looks more even and fair to the people in the north.
I don't think you're going to get a favorable decision on.
Why not? Why not?
I don't think that you're going to.
Because that's what they've done, Willie, for the last 30 years. That's exactly what they've done.
So
They've done exactly what you're saying.
But I can't account for what someone else has done before I arrived.
That's right, but you can fix it.
I can't fix over $2.5 million going toward another area when other individuals in the other counties, other districts rather, have paid what they should be paying.
That's what we've done. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Exactly the reason you're saying I can't do what I'm trying to do is what you have done for the last
What
30
they
years.
have done.
They have done. And we have the opportunity to fix this.
So I would make a comment
How
on
do we
that.
fix it?
We have tried, in the last 5 years, we have moved towards fixing it.
That's right.
$15
We have.
million is being spent on County Road 30. That directly benefits the north. We just did a road project up in your area last year. What was the exact amount of that? Do you remember? I don't, off the top of my head.
It was approximately $750,000.
So we spent $750,000 up there. So I think we're moving that way, but you're not going to move that way overnight. You're not going to move that way overnight.
But you're-
And so if you basically, we've spent $16 million to benefit the north part of the county. That's a good start.
That is a good start. But you spent hundreds of millions of dollars in the south, not in the north. And so I'm asking you to fix that.
But that's previous to this body being.
That's right.
So,
And that's
so
what
we
I'm trying to say.
can't fix that overnight. I
Not
mean,
overnight. It's
so-
going to take a while.
So we're moving in that direction by
Right.
what we've done.
That's right.
So-
Today, you have moved in that direction. But starting today, you're moving back in the other direction by paving a road in another district.
But we're being asked we have a inefficiency in the road department by having to bring a road grader all the way from the county shop over to have to do work on a quarter mile?
No, it's 2.8 miles.
But-
It's 3 different road segments that are total 2.8 miles.
And one of them's a quarter mile, and they're divided up. But
Divided up.
I think what he's talking about is an inefficiency that we can correct.
Okay. I can't say any more to you guys. I mean, you're either going to do the right thing or you're not. The only last thing I had to say is I have no reason to vote for a budget above revenue neutral if the roads aren't going to get fixed.
Well,
In fact, I think we're probably $4 million above revenue neutral too high at this point.
so on that obviously will come
I'm
to
not-
future discussion.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I don't support up north. I just think it's going to take time. And the other thing
It
is
would
too-
take time, but we got to go that
Let me
route.
finish, Jeff. You know, you look at District 4 and you go from 2004 to 2024. How many years ago was it before District 4 had money? I mean, I could probably say the same thing to a certain degree, and I think most districts can. The problem is we can't do this overnight. I am all in on working so we can get there, but we've got to be able to share this with other districts so we can get there. I can't, if I wish I was there years ago, I would definitely. I think most of us would have said, hey, time out. But you know, when you look at saying, well, why isn't the money even spent up there? There's that money that's down south is being spent all over the county. We're supposed to be in this together and get recommendations from the board and from professionals that tell us where we need to do. And that's not to exempt. I'd love to see Easton get more, and I think we can do that. But for right now, this is what we talked about last year, and I thought it was a fair thing because we went ahead and moved it around to get you that road up there, and I thought that was a good point to start.
I got one road, and that's the
But I don't think
111 in
we're not going to
south.
stop there, though, Jeff.
Yeah, well, you are though. That's my whole
No,
point.
not, maybe not for this. Maybe
Okay.
this won't get your way.
Commissioner Reed.
I have a question
Yes.
on clarification. Did you make a motion?
He did.
No, I think Jeff made one first.
Wait a minute.
I didn't make one.
You
I
didn't.
make
No,
one.
you made a motion.
Okay.
You seconded it.
Okay. You started to me, but
And your motion was to accept the staff recommendation.
yeah. District.
And you read off what the staff recommendation is.
Is it going to be after the motion is voted on? Would there be any consideration as to how many dollars could be appropriated for the dust abatement for District 1?
There and then.
I think what we're trying to do is from what the staff's saying is get this one out of the way so we don't have to worry about it again. so in the future, it'll be coming back and open opportunities, and I would suggest up north.
So just for public
There ain't none of my
information,
roads in the next 5 years, probably.
just for public information from Bill,
We got CIP coming.
which district has the most dirt, gravel, and unpaved roads?
Well, it's in the report, and I don't want to quote it wrong, so we can just flip to the chart here at the end, and we'll take a quick look, because I don't want to, I believe it was Reno, but District, District 1 has 88 miles of gravel and 61 miles of hard surface. District 2 has 39.59 miles of gravel and 42 miles of hard surface. District 3 has 54 miles of gravel and 125 miles of hard surface. District 4 has the 2.78 identified on the map. And then District 5 has 194 miles of gravel and 105 miles of hard surface roadways. And then the table shows the valuations. It's not broke down by, on here, it wasn't broke down by township or by percentages, because as you clearly can see, the number of road miles, like I was referencing earlier in the conversation, is not, as the city centers continue to grow and development occurs within the city limits and around the cities, some commissioner districts are going to continue to shrink as far as unincorporated areas. And some unincorporated areas are going to continue to encompass larger commissioner districts. And so as you see that transition over time, you're going to have a continued disparity, a big difference between districts and number of road miles.
So once we do this paving in Commissioner Smith's district, there'll be hardly any unpaved area left.
There will be no unpaved areas left.
None at all.
East of K7 at all. That'd
So-
be the last three in that township.
And this is just a point, when we look at these numbers, it is impacted by how much is already paved. But, how much you're spending is impacted by how much is already paved, how much is not
Well,
paved.
kind of. I think I don't have that handout, but I think that handout was off of the 20-year CIP of how much had been spent. And when that CIP, when a lot of those projects were completed, some of them were completed under 3 commissioner districts, some of them were completed under 5 commissioner districts, and then as they became 5 commissioner districts, under the previous census, they were redistricted in a different manner, and then under the current configuration of the districts, you have a new manner. So we've had the 20-year CIP has been completed under multiple different jurisdictional layouts.
So I'm going to go around the horn again. Commissioner Reed.
The largest complaint that I've received from my district over the last year is, the decision we made to postpone, pause, or stop the program where we receive personal funds to help get these roads accomplished. And it's not just from my district either. Monday I heard from someone in Commissioner Dove's district as well, and I've heard from people in Commissioner Stevens' district as well on that matter, as well as in Commissioner Culbertson's district. So I feel like it's a concern that does stretch countywide for the most part. And so I do support the idea of finishing Commissioner Smith's district, but I would have to go with trying to reopen that program when there's private money available and people are very invested in providing their private funds to make that happen. I think we need to pay attention to that, and so that's my concern.
I can add to that conversation. Historically, since I was here, that program has been full every single year.
Right.
And I have been yelled at more times than not this year by at least probably a half dozen or more residents who were adamant that they wanted to pave to have their road paved.
Right.
And that brings me to the point of, historically, in the past 6 years, up until last year and then starting yesterday, the county had not had a county-funded dust abatement program that wasn't completed by contractors. And that is what we ran into last year. Was we paved these roads using the county-funded sales tax dollars, and then we paved all 6 locations, and they were large locations that had multiple landowners paying for whole half-mile segments, and then in one case a mile and a half that was all connected. So we paved 6 miles of roadway approximately last year, and that is what put us behind on the chip and seal schedule that then resulted in the county suspending, the commissioner's decision to suspend that program for the 2026 season.
So Bill, I don't understand exactly, or I would like you to state maybe again if I missed it from previous conversations, but let's say the price of the materials needed goes up. We obviously have to consider that and account for that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we need more staff to support the program and stay on task, why doesn't that just kind of equal out as well?
Well, it's not just staff, it's equipment.
Right.
So I could propose in the budget to hire an additional 5 staff members to run another paving crew, but then we'd have to purchase another distributor and another paver in order to accomplish that. And then you only have 14 dump trucks, so then you have to have the dump trucks to haul it.
Right.
And so it's a cascading effect of, you have a small window of time
Right.
to do the paving, and then it's not just the employee time, it's the equipment that you have to spread out all over the county.
This was conversation I had with some of our previous commissioners.
Yeah.
Like, is it time, to make this step so that we can do more in the future instead of having to choose one or the other? Is it time for growth? Is kind of the topic of discussion I wanted to have as a part of this meeting today. Like, does it make sense to try to expand so we can do more of this in the future instead of having to choose, or not?
It's a real question that needs to be considered in this conversation, because anytime that you have a dust abatement program that has 6 locations that are privately funded up to a half mile apiece, and you are setting aside, which we historically had never done in the 6 years I had been here, money in the sales tax to also pave, it will take, with dry weather. We started preparing that road last September. We prepared the road, replaced the culverts, and reditched it for the Happy Hollow and Seven Sisters, and got it ready to go. They started yesterday. Weather permitting, it's a 2-week project. If we get rain during that 2-week period, then that extends it out. And that's what happened last year, is during June, in May, we had a lot of different rain days where we couldn't pave, and you have to, it's not just the day that it rains, it's the following day while your aggregate, your gravel road base dries out. And so you get behind schedule very quickly. And so with only one crew doing this, if you set aside an entire month or month and a half, last year it was almost 2 months, to get all of these roads paved, that is time that you're not doing patching or overlays or any type of maintenance work on your other network. And so consequently, we started the chip and seal a little bit behind schedule, not much, but then we had some rain in August, and it fell behind schedule. We are maximizing the number of miles that you can complete. It has to be 65 degrees to have chip and seal go down, according to specifications, and so that window is smaller than the asphalt window. But you end up in the situation where we're trying to do 110 miles a year or more of chip and seal, and that is one of probably, I would venture to say, if not the most, we're definitely in the top 2 or 3 counties for maintenance miles in the state of Kansas doing chip and seal. And so we're really pushing the envelope on the amount of maintenance that we can do with the current crews and the current equipment, both in chip and seal and in asphalt. And if the weather doesn't cooperate, next year, when we do these 2.8 miles and we open up the dust abatement program for another 6 locations, we will be needing that window of weather to be very dry in order to get done with all of our maintenance and all of that. So to your point, we are at those crossroads of what are we going to do with the privately funded program,
Right.
and are we going to continue to have the county crews do
Let me step in here. Commissioners, the privately funded program does not completely pay for itself. It
Right.
is subsidized by the county. We do a lot of the rock prep, do all the crossroad culverts and stuff like that. So we do, it's not a 100% funded by
Correct.
the self-pay. So that has something to do with it. We've been saying for 6 years or longer, the roads that we have, we're behind on maintenance on them because there's never been the proper budget to maintain what we have. Expanding that system only makes the problem worse. It makes the roads nice now, but in 5 to 10 years when it's time to maintain them, we're still, like Bill just said, we're short on people to do it. So the challenge has always been, how much do you want to fund the project? If you want to put more into public works, then we can do more of these maintenance projects and expand things like this dust abatement. But it all comes at a cost. We did used to do the dust abatement privately. The first projects we did, all of them were privately. We bid them and put them out. It didn't work out great because it's a weird process. It's not a normal road building process where they go in and do all the prep and everything else. So warranties are questionable and so on. Our crews do a much better job when we do it internally because it's not about a profit margin for them. It's about doing it the way they know they're going to have to come back and maintain them. So if the board wants Bill to put more in his budget, he's already submitted his budget for 2027. But if you'd like for him to increase that budget, we can do that. If you'd like to see it expand and hire more people and get more equipment and do all those things, or if you'd like to see the money go towards contracting some of the work out. But all of those things cost money. There is no way to do that revenue neutral. There's no way to do it just holding the line with the CPI. It requires an increase. Over the last 2 budget years, the board has increased what the Public Works Department gets, but we're still behind. We are still behind, and that's the message.
And the costs are still going up. We got notified just yesterday that the asphalt that we're getting ready that we're laying currently here today on Happy Hall and Southern Sisters had an increase of 6% just after the situation in the Middle East was ongoing and the price of oil increased by a lot. So what we paid last year, $58.75 a ton for asphalt, we're paying $63.40, I believe, today. So the CPI is not an accurate reflection in any way of the inflationary costs of equipment or materials that we use within the road department. It is substantially higher.
And I understand the budget, and I'm not suggesting that we continue to be irresponsible. I think that's a larger conversation. We did some of it last budget cycle too.
Yes.
We have to consider what is it going to take to maintain this in the future, make sure that this plan matches that plan. I'm just making sure we keep that in mind during this discussion because that is the largest concern in my district, that we have private funds available, and I think it's a concern in most districts. I haven't heard from anyone in Commissioner Smith's district about it, but that's the exception.
We are hearing from my district about it.
Yes. So that's still where my heart is on this. I hope we're able to flesh more out in the budget cycle on it this year as well.
It's a great program. It's very popular. It's a great program. It's just like last year what happened is we got behind because we did all these dust abatement roads that we weren't scheduled to do. And once we did those, it put us behind. So this year we're catching up. We intend next year to have it again in the proposal as long as budgetarily we're allowed to.
So I will move on.
Thank you.
Commissioner Culberson.
I just want to finish up one thing. So I know I'm not going to get a second for the motion I was going to make was that the CIP reflect that we do the next 5 years in my district to help get caught back up. If you guys kind of agree that it does look uneven, I was going to suggest a second motion that we could do one in my district, then one in Vanessa's, then one in my district, then one in Mike's, then one in my district, then one in whoever's. Go back and forth, but mine every other one. I know I'm not going to get a second for even that. So the motion I do want to make after this is if you're understanding or agreeing with me that there's been an imbalance of how we spent the funds in the past, then the motion I want to make is from this point forward, we put 1/5 of whatever dust abatement funds we're allocating each year to each district. That way it can't get like this again. If we're going to put $500,000 a year in dust abatement, each of us get $100,000 to spend in our district. It might take a little while to build up some money to do something with, but at least from this point forward, it won't get like that.
Jeff, after this vote, I would not have a problem considering something like that. I want to get past this one and then set it up, because I do want to make sure all the districts are being served as well as they can. And I know from the past, there's probably been, not with this group, been probably things that we probably could have looked a little stronger up north. So I wouldn't really have a problem with that after this one.
I would agree with Mr. Smith. I have no problem to us revisiting this and appropriating funds for it. Make sure that your district is taken care of. And I'm glad to come off the previous suggestion, so we can at least have a place that we can start. Because before there wasn't a place that we even had a good conversation about it.
Yeah.
So you're saying, let's do one more road in another district. This motion right now is to do another road in another district, not my district. And then we'll talk about making it fair. Is that what you're saying?
Not just talk about it, but actually make a
Put it in process with our budget times coming up right
suggestion
now.
according to the budget, because we are looking at revenue neutral here. If the funds aren't there, the funds aren't there, and I can see individuals in the third district having a condition when we're going to be set back 3 years from getting anything done.
So Commissioner Smith.
No, I have nothing else.
My only comment is that, three things. Number one is we are spending $15 million on a project on County Road 30 that directly
Mike, you
benefits.
keep bringing that up.
Yes.
But why did that start? Why do we start that project?
I mean,
What started that project?
I just want to make my statement. I
know, but
don't
what
want to
started?
argue about it.
I'm not arguing. I'm asking you what started County Road 30. County Road
Because the
30.
request of the citizens.
And who started that? Who
Well,
came
I
to
just
the
know when
county
I got on
board?
the commission, I was getting petitions from Mr. Heim and a whole bunch of citizens, and we worked on it together to get it done.
I know, but you keep touting that like that's going to save the North. I understand that project because I started that project.
I'm just making a point.
I know, but you
The
keep
point-
saying people in North should be happy with County Road 30.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, it sounds like that's
I'm
what
just
you're
saying it. Okay, it comes across to me, Jeff. What I'm hearing from you is like nothing's been done in the North at all. So I'm trying to make the point is we have been making an effort to help and get some money to benefit not only the North but the South. I don't really like this parochial conversation where we're talking North and South because we're benefiting the entire county here. And when we put roads in, it should be for connectivity. It should be for benefiting everyone in the county. It shouldn't be North or South.
That sounds like somebody that's been benefited by the North for the last 30 years.
That's parochial. You remember, my district is the North and the South. I go clear up to Alexandria.
Okay, I get it.
So,
yeah.
so I just want to point out, $15 million when County Road 30 is finished, that benefits the North. And we also spent $750,000 last year directly benefiting the North. That's $16 million directly benefiting the North. So you can't say that the commission has not said that we support getting some projects up to the North. We do support that.
You did.
We have voted to
For the
support
last
that.
2 years,
But
you did.
you're not going to exclusively get this body to only spend money in the North. That's what's not going to happen. And we have
Like
other
you have in the
areas.
South for the last 30 years.
We have other areas.
Like they did.
That's
Not
right.
us.
That's right.
Not
So
us.
we can fix it. But we don't want to fix it.
We have a motion on the floor. So is there further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, voting, Commissioner Reed.
No.
Nope.
Yes.
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 Commissioners, that was a vote for the dust abatement. You did not technically make a motion to
Right.
approve the CIP, so we still need to.
Is there a additional motion?
I'd like to make a motion that the CIP split the money 5 ways for the next 5 years for the dust abatement, $500,000 equally among the commission district.
That's the dust abatement
To
portion.
the CIP. We're talking about CIP now,
The
right?
CIP are the big projects.
The
dust-
entire
The last motion spent the dust abatement money for next year, for 2027. So this is, we need a motion to approve the CIP, which is.
And that's the motion I'm making, that the CIP split the money, the $500,000 each year, approve this CIP except for the fact that the $500,000 listed each year goes equally among the 5 districts.
I'll second for the sake of the motion.
So I'm saying the CIP, everything that he's put in here, is okay. And the $500,000 each year.
So the motion is, and second, is to accept the CIP, except moving forward, the dust abatement portions will be divided by district equally.
Yes. So this CIP, the only difference in it would be that $500,000 line item.
Okay, moving forward.
Needs to say-
Now, I do have a question.
I think
When the
that
board
would-
changes, the board,
Commissioners, I think that would supersede the motion you just approved. So you would undo the commission, the 4 districts, that would undo that.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, that was
Also,
wait,
the fourth district
wait,
will
hold
have
on.
that.
Aren't we saying moving forward in a future budget?
He's.
No.
This is, we gotta do what you're.
So we gotta do CIP, we gotta have a motion on the CIP, and then we can have a motion separately moving forward. So can I have a motion on the CIP alone?
So I make a motion that on the CIP,
Commissioner, you do have a motion and a second on the floor.
Oh, that is correct.
Can we have a motion?
Can that be withdrawn?
I can withdraw my motion.
Okay.
You need to
Draw your
withdraw a
second. Okay.
My new motion is we accept the CIP as presented, including next year. That's his district then, including that road. But from 28 on, we divide the money equally among the 5 commission districts. The $500,000.
It'd be 4.
400,000.
No, it's,
Well,
there's
there
only-
wouldn't be a,
there won't be any
fourth
gravel
commission
roads.
district because Commissioner
Oh.
Smith wouldn't have gravel
We're
roads.
done.
Yeah, but you have to maintain the paved road.
We don't
There-
get
there
maintenance, we don't get
maintenance
maintenance out of sales tax.
Maintenance comes
Oh,
out
that's
from-
right, that's right. Okay. So your
So,
district's
4 districts.
all paved, so then the next 4 districts get 125,000 each. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so that's the motion. I'll ask the council, is that a problem?
Could we have a discussion on that? You're talking about taking 25% of the total.
But let me get the motion straight and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
Is that a proper motion, council?
Okay, I think we do need a bit of clarification on it. So the motion I have is to accept the CIP as presented for 2027, and then going forward, the dust abatement money would be spent, divided 4 ways. District 4 would not be included, and that is just for
That
the
makes sense.
5-year period of the CIP.
When you say that, shouldn't maybe you say that from 2028
Forward.
the forward?
Yes, that's right. That's what.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah.
So the District 4, we're going to finish that off, and then in the future, we're going to divide it between 4.
Because you won't have any.
Because I don't have it, I understand that.
So we got the motion clarified?
Clear as mud.
I just want to make sure it's clarified. That's good?
Okay.
So we have Commissioner Dove, did you want to discuss?
No, I think Commissioner Vanessa has straightened me out on a couple of things. So.
Somebody should.
My numbers were
Commissioner Reed, do you have anything to say?
My
I'm
numbers
just
were all.
sad I wasn't here the last 2 weeks.
You were missed.
I feel like we're catching up
Even the
today.
members of the public missed you.
I'm glad you
I heard. Thank you so much.
bring some stability here.
Commissioner Culberson, any further comments? Commissioner Smith? Okay, then we will, I have no further, and Commissioner Dove no further, then let's have a vote. Commissioner Reed?
What's the motion? But make sure we got that right.
Did
So
you get a
next
second
year-
on that motion?
Commissioner
She second. I think.
Commissioner Reed
I don't.
seconded.
Did you
Does-
second that his motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, so are we clear as mud?
Willie, you want to hear the motion?
Super
again?
clear.
Could you read the motion back to us again, just to make sure everybody understands?
Yeah.
Okay. So Commissioner Culbertson moved to accept the CIP as presented for 2027, and then beginning in 2028, the dust abatement funds would be divided amongst Commissioner District 1, 5, 3, and 4.
Not 4.
2.
4.
Yeah, see, I clarified it really good.
Everybody but
1, 2, 3, and
Mr.
5.
Smith.
Right.
Yes.
All right. And there was a second. And so now we will vote. Commissioner Reed?
That way, Willie, we can't get
You got
like
something
that
coming
again.
up there.
Everybody gets the same amount of money every year.
The part I have some reservations about is that I see that I see that District 3 is individuals that are spending a lot more than any other district, is what I'm looking at here. And so I'm looking at why are we putting 25% in any one of those districts? Why can't it be split up according to how many dollars are being spent within the district? Does that make sense?
Like by evaluation.
Yeah, Willie, you're proving my point of what I've said for the last 30 years.
Then how can we, my question to the county administrator is that how could we do that appropriately using these evaluation numbers?
Well, I think if you wanted to go that route, you would really have to apply that to all of the funds for public works, not just this dust abatement. The dust abatement is a very small portion of the entire project. So $500,000 is what the board has set aside for dust abatement. Dust abatement is different than the big projects. So the big projects, the other $90 million of this
You've covered that
budget
one, yeah.
is
This does directly help him.
Why are you saying
I mean,
that?
well, Commissioner, if you want to get down to we're only going to spend the money where it's collected, it should be spent in the cities. Most of the money that you're discussing is collected in the cities.
Yep.
Not
But
in
we
the
would
rural
have the
areas.
discretionary.
You have
power
that.
to
You have that
decide.
discretion. I'm just saying, if you want to go to a percentage base by district, we can do that. But you should do it for all of the funds if that's the application process. For this, it's just a very small portion of $500,000. You can decide how you want to do it.
I think this is a good starting point that you just brought up.
If we went to that system and did it by valuations, it would shift things even more to the south. So we do not want to do that. That is not, we want to do this.
I would agree with 25.
Because valuation of Macer and Tonganoxie is going to.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
From a logistic maintenance
Yeah.
standpoint, if we will have to come back with a policy on how this would be administered, because
Yep.
I assume no one's going to complete a roadway with $125,000 per year.
That's what my next question was going to be. Would the commissioners
And
then
so-
have the right to gift their money to the commissioner district of their choice?
Or could you carry it
I
over?
think that's a policy that the board needs to
You're gonna have to build it up.
So
Well, that's
just,
what I'm saying. Mark, could you build it up?
You're gonna build it up over a couple of years.
Couple
yeah, that's
years
what
or
I'm
something?
saying. We would need to carry these funds through a policy
I agree.
in an individual.
Yeah.
Because we
So
don't
you'll come
want,
back with
if
policy.
we enact the 6 locations again in 2027 and 8, we don't want to go to 10 locations more than likely and not complete any, because privately funded dust abatements don't complete roads. You know, they complete it to someone's driveway. So we'd have a bunch of segmented
Sure.
projects that aren't going to complete any one whole project with $125,000.
There's going to be a lot more discussions on this, but I think the point that was made was 125 is breaking it out so everybody gets a piece of the pie. If you want to continue saving, then you can for projects that's coming up down the line.
But I'm trying to. But Willie, I have a question. I'm trying to understand what point you're trying to get to when you said the money that's spent is where you need to.
And when it's collected, it's where it's spent.
So that's exactly the point that I'm trying to make with my math. The people in the north have spent the money over the last 30 years, and look what they've got.
I can only account for me for the last 2 years.
Right.
Okay, so that's
And
all
we've been-
I can account for. hearing what Mr. Noah has said, I think that 25% is probably fine.
So we have this motion on the table. I think.
125.
He said 25%.
$25.
25%.
So we have a motion on the table. Does anyone want to call the question?
Yeah. For proof. Yeah.
We're good.
I get you.
We're good?
Yeah.
We're ready to have a vote.
Yes.
But again, I'm trying to understand what Willie's saying though. When you said where you collected the money, that's where we need to.
Can we vote and then we'll talk about this policy, because I think you can keep this conversation going.
right.
So voting, Commissioner Reed.
You can't be straight on this.
Dun, 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 dun.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Culberson.
Nope.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith. Aye. All right. So now let's revert back before we move on to talk about a policy for this.
Everybody knowing something that I made a
Can we ask a policy to be developed and brought forward?
We'll have a developed policy on how it's administered.
Okay, and they're going to develop a policy and bring it forward. Is there any comments on that policy? Do you want to be able to carry money over so that you could save for 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, you're gonna
And
You
the
have
policy-
to.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a project.
All right. So you'll bring that back to us, Bill, if it's all right with you.
We'll have a work session.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay.
Oh my.
We got that done. Does anybody need to take a break? Or are we good?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have a 5-minute break.
5 minutes later.
We got that done, though. Are we ready?
If you have time after your constituent.
We are back in session, Leavenworth County Commission, and our next item on the agenda is going to be to consider a motion that the proposed final plat as outlined in case DEV 26-22. So we welcome our planning and zoning folks. Thank you for coming. And the floor is yours.
All right. The request before you is DEV 26, 21, and 22, which is a preliminary and final plat request for the Elysian Fields subdivision. This proposed subdivision is a 2-lot cross-access easement subdivision, so it is a private drive subdivision that would be creating 2 lots that are approximately 5 acres apiece, which is compliant with the underlying zoning district. However, due to the layout of the lot and to configure it in order to create the A2-lot subdivision, it did not meet the lot depth to lot width standard for lot 1 because it is wider than it is long. In addition, there is a structure that is existing on the property. It's compliant currently, but the layout of the private drive easement and the resulting building setback does place it in that building setback. So the applicant has requested an exception from both the lot width to lot depth on lot 1 and that non-conforming structure that would be placed in the building setback. The Planning Commission did consider this at their April meeting. They did approve both exceptions, and they have recommended to this body that the plat be approved as presented. If you have any questions, let us know.
All right, is there a motion?
Any questions?
I'll take, I was going to motion and then a question.
Consider motion that the proposed final plat as outlined in case DV 2622 is compliant with the county zoning and subdivision regulations, and move that the proposed final plat be conditionally approved and accepted by this board, subject to the conditionally approved and accepted by this board, subject to the conditions set forth in the staff report and as adopted by the Planning Commission.
There's a motion and a second. Now we'll have questions. Go ahead. Any, Commissioner Dove?
No other questions?
No.
Okay, moving on to a vote. All those in favor? Voting.
Aye.
Aye.
That's done in the house.
Yeah. Aye.
We're gonna get it right.
Oh, brother.
Okay, item C.
Get ahead of yourself.
Consider a motion that the proposed final plat is outlined in case DEV 26-024 is compliant. And staff, go ahead.
All right, this case number is also a preliminary and final plat request for Daphne Estates subdivision. It is a proposed 3-lot subdivision located at 18735 Metro Avenue. They also have requested an exception for a non-conforming structure. There's multiple ag buildings on the property, and the way they have split up the lots, one of those ag buildings will be on a lot without a principal dwelling. That is just how the layout of the lots with the configuration of the other figures on, or of the configuration of the buildings on the site worked out. The Planning Commission did consider this request. They approved the exception and have also recommended approval to this body to approve the plat. So,
All right, and we will have a motion.
Consider a motion that the proposed final plat as outlined in case DEV 2624 is compliant with the county zoning and subdivision regulations, and move that the proposed final plat be conditionally approved and accepted by this board, subject to the conditionally approved and accepted by this board. That's not me reading, that's how it's written, just so everybody knows. Subject to the conditions set forth in the staff report and as adopted by the Planning Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Seeing no discussion, voting Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
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 All right. I like those. Thank you. Next, consider a motion to approve Board Order 2026-4 transferring funds from the General Operating Fund to the County Capital Improvement Fund in the amount of $800,000. Is this going to be handled by County Administrator?
I'll take care of it. Yeah. Commissioners, this was the money at the end of last year that was available in the fund. It's set aside for capital projects. This was part of the courthouse repairs. Last year you authorized additional money and being levied for the roof. And so this is just moving that money into that reserve.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Make one to approve the Board of County Board Order 2026 transferring the funds from General County Fund to the County Capital Improvement Fund in the amount of $800,000.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion? No discussion. Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
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 5-0. Moving on. Consider a motion to approve Board Order 2026-5 transferring funds from the General Operating Fund of the County Cushing lease buyout to the Capital Improvement Funding in the amount of $2,200,000.
Yeah. Commissioners, this is
$2,200,000.
Yeah. Commissioners, this is again the money that we received for the lease buyout last year. This is setting it aside so that it can be used for improvements at the Cushing facility. If we find a tenant, to hopefully make tenant improvements, and if not, then to be applied towards other improvements like heating, cooling, that kind of thing.
I believe that was also one that you participated in and helped us get those funds approved. Is that correct?
Yes, Commissioner. That was the tenant that we had on the third floor. They changed hands. The company that originally started that project changed hands, and so it had stalled. And the new company that came in, and I think they originally offered us like $250,000.
Right. Yeah.
And I negotiated with them. They agreed to the $2.2 million buyout, so that they could basically walk away from the lease and leave the facility in the current condition.
Okay, we do appreciate your negotiating that.
Thank you.
2.2.
Yeah. All right. Is there a motion?
Consider a motion to approve Board Order 2026-5, transferring funds from the General Operating Fund of the County Cushing lease buyout to the Capital Improvement Funding in the amount of $2,200,000.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
Nope.
All right. Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
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 5-0. Consider a motion to approve Board Order 2026-6, accepting a one dust abatement application on Happy Hollow Road to extend the public improvement with private funds that will cover 100% of the cost.
Commissioners, for your consideration today is that board order. Paving in that location did begin yesterday. And And so if the board were to approve this, it needs to imminently begin the preparation of that road. That road has not been prepared, and it's very important to prepare the base of the roadway correctly. We started that preparation for the rest of the road last September, and I have articulated in here the issues that can arise and the future maintenance costs if you don't get that road prepared correctly. So it would extend not just the amount of time for paving, but the roadway preparation work would have to extend. It'll probably add a week to this project. The property owner, when he called and made this request, thought it was around 450 feet. It is, in fact, closer to 650 feet from where the road had been left off at for the preparation of the dust abatement we're currently working on. Since then, I will say that we've had multiple people who Commissioner Reed referenced earlier call in, very upset that the board was considering this request, and I would anticipate that you do receive phone calls if this request is approved, since they were refused the request earlier in the year.
Okay, so that's the deal. Do we want to have a motion and we'll have a discussion?
So I make a motion that we approve this, let's see, Board Order 2026, accepting one dust abatement application on Happy Hollow Road to extend the public improvement with private funds that will cover 100% of the cost.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Now, discussion. Commissioner Dunn.
How much of an increase are we talking about?
In cost?
Yes.
I'm estimating that the actual cost will be a little over $40 a foot, and so multiply that by 650, so we're talking $25,000, $30,000 worth of work in probably a week. The road wasn't ditched, so I don't know if we can still pull the ditches, but we definitely need to put down more AB3 and compact it. Without a good compacted base, we have seen what occurs when you just pave on top of an existing gravel road without AB3 preparation and getting that compaction, and the road breaks up and falls apart, and then we'll be back there spending general taxpayer funds if it's not done correctly.
But who are you saying is paying for it, Will? The
county.
No, the taxpayer.
Taxpayers is paying for it. Well, how much, what kind of improvement material were we using before? You mentioned a specific type.
Yeah, we use, so we generally, the process for this is into the summer when we finished asphalt season for the previous year, we would go in and we would look at these locations and check the crossroad culverts to see if any of them need to be replaced or have pinholes or rusting, and make sure that none of the driveway culverts are plugged and the ditches are cleaned out and draining properly, because you do not want to cut a brand new asphalt roadway to replace a culvert over the next couple of years. And so we would generally do an inspection of those culverts, fix the ditches, and then we use AB3 material, which is your gravel lime mixture, pressure run type rock that's supposed to have a certain percentage of lime in it, and that material is the best for compaction. Is often the one that we use in the summer that we get complaints about the dust coming off of it, but it is what is used for a gravel road base, and so we need to achieve a certain compaction level of that material in order not to have base issues, especially if there are any drainage issues, because when you get moisture underneath that roadway, it will cause potholes and cause the road to sink and have different pavement issues at the surface and cracking.
It sounded like we were using a lesser quality material before than AB3.
No, we were always using AB3 to prepare the road. We put AB3 on the entire 2.5 miles as a part of the preparation. We did that last September. Then we put a little bit more on it a few weeks, probably a month ago, and then we watered the road down and compacted it as part of the preparation to pave it over the last week and a half.
Thank you. I'm getting new hearing aids about the bottom of the month. So, thank you.
Mr. Reed. No comment? Mr. Culverson.
I just want to make sure I was understanding Willie. So the property owner is paying for this.
Property owner is paying for it.
Okay. Let me pass this down, Mike. So what we're talking about here is just a little segment.
Yeah.
The county's already there, and so whenever you start over again, there's a relocation fee where you have to relocate all your equipment. So
Back in again.
they're already there.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting
Right,
at is
okay.
they're already there. It's only 400 more feet than they were going to do anyway. 400 feet. The equipment's already there.
It's 60.
And I understand the people that were signed up for the program somewhere else, and I totally get what they're saying.
Right.
But if this was on any of their projects, I would agree 100%. If they're already there and it's just 400 feet, it's not like a mile project that we're talking about, and we're not going to relocate all the equipment.
What is the
How many
appropriate?
feet?
It's 650.
650, but they're already going to do 250?
No.
200?
No, it's 650. The property owner reported 400 to 450, but based upon where he said he wanted to pave to, it's like 600.
So 600 feet. So it's another 600 feet, but they're already there, is my point. So instead of
Or take it.
pulling them and then having to relocate them back there again later, it just makes sense. And I would vote for this for any one of these other projects if we were already there, and the property owner's paying for it. So, just like Vanessa was just talking about, if you have property owners ready to pay for something, why don't you do it while they're there? To save the county taxpayers money, because if that was a road that the county taxpayers had to pay for later, they
I
wouldn't
agree.
have.
Thanks.
But why are the, well, make sure I understand this. Why are the other folks upset? What's the difference between what we're doing here? Because I agree with you, Jeff. Then what's, you said you've been getting calls? Explain it to me again.
Oh, people have reached out to us from the public that wanted to pay for the program, and they would have paid the full price. Historically, we have subsidized that program by anywhere from 25 to 30%, generally is what the commission has decided to subsidize it. We produce a spreadsheet of actual costs versus what we're charging, and it's usually in that 25 to 30% subsidy range of paying for it, but there are multiple other, at least 2 or 3 other property owners who have called in the last week saying that they will be back making the request to pay for the full cost of it in the future. The issue is prepping the road. I understand we're already there, but we've already prepped the road, and so that preparation is going to have to occur after. We will leave the equipment there, but we do need to prep that gravel road. It will take a week to prep it. We'll have to gravel it, wet the asphalt. We'll water it with the truck, pull water off of a fire hydrant and water it, and get it compacted and do the preparation work. So it does save some time, but it would have been a much easier process had it been more fluid in the connectivity that Commissioner Culberson's requesting. If we had done it in advance, if we'd have known ahead of time, it would have been a very easy process. But now we're going to be hooking onto it and doing gravel prep work after we pave Happy Hollow and Seven Sisters to take while we're out there.
Commissioner, the people are upset because they came to us when we normally would have opened this program up. They came in and wanted to make an application, and they were told, we're not doing that this year. So now they feel like this person is jumping over that process and getting a favor done for them that they weren't able. That's why they're upset.
And that's what it seems like, but what it really is common sense. We're already there. We're trying to pave more roads. Somebody wants to pay for it, and we're already there. And if we were relocating all the equipment to a completely different road project, I would say their complaint is legitimate. That would be not fair. You completely did another road when we asked you to do our road. But this is something completely different. We're already there. It's only 600 feet.
Do we believe there could be any potential legal entanglements?
I mean, there could always be a legal entanglement with something. I'm glad the commission has articulated why this would be the exception. And this is a beneficial program that's out there. It's discretionary on whether we operate it or not. I'm glad to have the justification that's been articulated for the public that they were already there. And I'm thinking about perhaps a provision like this and the policy that we're bringing forward on dust abatement would be helpful too in the future, so we can spell that
Just
out.
set precedent.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Does staff have a recommendation per se?
I think, obviously, commissioners, we have to follow the policy, and the policy says don't do it, right? That's the direction we were given last year, is we're not doing these. So that's why it's at the board now. It's at your discretion. We need your authorization to not follow the policy that the board previously given us.
But the policy, that was not 100% coverage either, correct? That was a subsidized.
It was our it's the dust abatement plan, which requires us to do all the prep work. So that is subsidized, correct.
And I can talk about this at the end if this isn't appropriate, but I think I would definitely be interested in looking at making it 100% like this one is, so that we can save some of those funds to put back into other areas instead of having it be a subsidized program.
Going forward?
Yes.
Yeah. So, that I think that makes sense too, is to increase the price. I think when we originally brought it forward, that was the discussion on whether we would charge 100% or not. So that'd be a change to the policy.
And when would that be appropriate to bring that up?
Before we implement next year's program.
Generally, we do that in October. And so the program is usually open from October 15th or 30th to end of February.
When do we bring the cost to them, Bill?
In October.
And then they approve it.
Yeah, we take.
So that'd be the time.
So we'll take and look at what this dust abatement that we're currently completing on Seven Sisters and Happy Hollow cost. And so we'll use our current 2026 pricing to develop the projected 2027 pricing. And so that's what we do every year, is we say, this is how much it costs, this is how long it was, this is your per foot cost to do these at 100%. And then the board has increased the cost of that every year, but has always decided by board direction to subsidize that in some way. So I believe it was $38 a foot was the actual cost last time, and it was 30 or 31 was the property owner cost.
Okay, my comment on this is I understand people not being happy, but it does seem to make sense since we're already there. And as long as the preparation can be made, as long as we don't have undue delay, and it sounds like a week is not that. So I'm going to support this. Commissioner Dudley?
Same.
All right, so voting. Commissioner Reed?
Aye.
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 Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Quarterly report, EMS Health Department. Welcome.
1 foot at a time. That's what they say.
Thank you, Jeff, for prepping us
1 foot at a time.
for this conversation.
I tell you.
Now you see where I was going with it.
Oh, yeah. It was very clear.
Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. In front of you is the first quarter report for EMS. First reporting is budget. Budget expenditures are within budget authority at this time. Some of the budget authority items are full year expenditures also that are included in that, such as rent, insurance, some of those type of things that are already pulled. So it does skew it a little bit. However, we're still within budget authority. User fees, we are above user fee revenue collection. And that's also because of total patients transported. And again, billing staff doing what they need to collect as much user fee revenue as we can. Next section is statistics, and that is what we're reporting on. We are still maintaining about 37 to 38 calls a day. Of that, about 28 of those actually have a patient on the other end, and of that, about 24 are transported to a hospital from those calls. Next few pages are just the statistics that I provide on a quarterly basis for you. Vehicle maintenance, one of the items I want to talk about, the 2025 ambulance that was ordered should be to us hopefully by the end of June. Again, if you remember, we ordered that about 2 years ago, and we should be receiving our 2025 ambulance this June. Our 2026 and 2027 should be in December of 27 before we receive that. We will be looking at ordering our 2028 ambulance But at the current, I'm looking at what that may look like, if that's going to be a remount or if that will actually be a replacement ambulance. A remount is taking the ambulance box itself and you take it off, you refurbish it, and you put it on a new chassis, and there's some sort of enhancement for doing that and cost savings. So we're looking at what that could be. But we have to wait until the boxes match the chassis that it could actually mount to. So we're going to be looking at that, and I'll be bringing that back to the board, and I'll discuss that with Mark moving forward on if that's our best option or what we should be doing moving forward on that. Some other updates. We just finished this month relicensing our service with the Kansas Board of EMS. We hired in 3 backfill EMT positions. 2 employees are currently graduating from paramedic school this month, and they'll transition over from EMT to paramedic. New DEA licensure, we're going through that process. There's new DEA licensure for ambulance. Currently, all stations have to have their own DEA license. DEA now has a program specific to ambulance regulation. The service will be able to have a license, and then the stations will be under that umbrella of a license. So that's kind of a process that we're also going through at this point. And then we also worked with the health department side to achieve Narcan, to be able to place that also in all of the AEDs that are in our county access AEDs in all of our buildings. So there's now Narcan in those as well. Any questions for EMS that I can?
Questions, Mr. Dove?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Reed?
No.
You've been very specific.
Yeah, Jay, what's just out of curiosity, how long is paramedic school?
Currently, paramedic school is 18 months, and that's after you complete your associate's degree.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have, Joe.
I don't have anything, so we'll move on to the health. County Health Department report.
Same thing, Commissioners. Budget within Budget Authority, user fee collections. That's sporadic based on different programs that we're providing. Usually third quarter is a little bit higher in our user fee because that's immunizations, time frame for kids going back to school. So we collect a little bit more user fee in our third quarter. Grants received, we're on track collecting grants that we need to collect in that. Statistics are provided there for you. Staffing, one of the things I want to add in that staffing is we were able to offer to a medical billing coder position, and they start the first week of May. So we were able to replace that out. Our last billing coder transitioned over and went to the VA, to the billing coding section over there. Big shout out to our public health emergency preparedness side of things with the World Cup and training. There's been a lot of behind the scenes planning and preparation for that for our communities as well. Even though we're not hosting it as a base camp or any of those type of things, there's going to be a lot of influx to our areas in the Kansas City metro. And our FEP coordinator is working on providing and starting some webinars that she'll be providing to community partners for planning and such to get fire departments, law enforcement, hotels, health clinics, all those kind of all on the same board, visiting that information and sharing that information and plans across that are happening throughout the region. She's also been working with the Mid-America Regional Council on the public health side for some of the outsourcing PIO things for messaging and such for the communities across the Kansas City metro. So big shout out there. And then also kind of a big, kind of exciting Friday of this week, we will be linking with Positive Connections in the parking lot of CVS at 4th and Limit. They're going to be doing STI HIV testing. They're bringing up their big bus and such. We will also be there. We're also going to be doing the Narcan administration handouts. So we're going to try to push some of that out into the community. We've received large amount of Narcan to try to push that out into the community and get that in people's hands.
Okay. Questions, Commissioner Bell?
I had one with this face. It just went away. My God.
Welcome to my world.
I'm showing my age. My God.
Okay, I have a couple questions. And as a background for this question, I'll read this little article I read, a portion of it. HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy has changed the vaccine schedule. The overhaul was justified for several key rationales, according to the administration. International alignment, a 33-page assessment commissioned by the administration, compared the U.S. to 20 other wealthy nations, finding that the U.S. recommended significantly more doses than countries like Germany and Denmark. Restoring public trust, officials stated that the softening recommendations for certain illnesses like rotavirus or flu would build confidence with parents who feel the schedule is bloated or the children receive too many vaccines. Emphasis on personal choice. The policy shifted 6 vaccines, including those for hepatitis A, hepatitis B, influenza, and COVID-19, to a shared clinical decision-making model. This framework aims to empower parents and physicians to make individualized decisions based on specific risks rather than a universal mandate. And reduced exposures. Some administration officials highlighted that a slimmer schedule would result in less exposure to vaccine ingredients like aluminum, which many believe or historically have been linked to chronic health issues. So I have in Kansas, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment announced in January 2026 that they would not adopt the federal standards, which reduced the number of universally recommended childhood vaccines from 17 down to 11. Republican lawmakers forced this issue, presenting a bill to Governor Kelly, which she vetoed post-session. So the question I have for you is, what is our recommendation in Leavenworth County? Are we following the federal recommendations or are we following the state recommendations?
We currently give the recommendations from the state, from KDHE, and allow parents to make the decision on what vaccines they want. However, in schools and what's required to go to public schools is based out of the KDHE recommendations. So again, a lot of that falls into the hands of KDHE. So we are not pushing vaccines, Commissioner, per se. We're also allowing the parents, which follows somewhat of the federal guidelines of we're trying to allow them to understand what's out there, what the information is, and then the parents get to make that decision. However, if they're going to public schools in Kansas, there are certain recommendations, or certain vaccines that are required to be able to go to public schools in the state of Kansas.
So is there an overlap of some of those that are excluded from the federal that are being required for attending school?
Commissioner, I don't have it in front of me. I'd be able to...
hepatitis A, hepatitis B, influenza, COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19 is not a requirement to attend school, and neither is influenza.
So does Leavenworth County have the ability to make the determination, and this might be a legal question, do we have the ability to make a determination that we want to follow the federal guidelines rather than the state guidelines?
Well, Commissioner, we don't push the vaccines in general. We let the people make the decision on which ones. I'm not aware of Leavenworth County requiring any vaccines. It's just an option to come and get them if they choose.
But if we were following one recommendation or another, are we allowed to say we want to follow the federal recommendations as opposed to the KDHE regulations?
I don't believe the county, nor am I recommending that we say to follow any recommendation. That's a personal choice of the people if they come to the county to get the vaccines. And if you're saying we have to pick one, I believe we're licensed through the state and we would be more closely aligned with that. But right now the county doesn't require vaccines as a whole.
I'm not saying we require vaccines. This is a recommendation from the governor has determined that we're going to follow the state regulations, but the federal actually passed it down to the state requesting that they change it, and the state of Kansas decided they would not.
And we are a subdivision of the state, so I would recommend that we align with the state on this, particularly since we are not pushing vaccines out to the public or making recommendations at the health department.
So we don't have the authority to make our, we don't have the authority as a body here to say that we follow the federal guidelines.
I think we'd be grossly overstepping if we went into that field.
Okay. Well, that's my question, because I certainly don't agree with the governor. I think that she's overstepping her bounds. So. Yep, that is. So, thank you.
I hate to see that our private health concerns become political. That's
it is.
Well, I'm looking at it. That's political.
All right.
That's currently your mind. That's what they want to do.
Moving on to building and grounds.
Oh, he's get up here and go to some conversation.
We'll see if we can ask you some tough questions.
Not a problem. Starting through Cushing Building, we had some heating pipe issues underneath in the tunnels. We did some replacement down there. Prior to firing up the chiller, we did some replacing of the insulation on it, as it had some air gapping, which caused drips on the ceiling tiles, mainly through the C area into K-State. Those got replaced before we fired up the chiller because it causes the pipes to start sweating, and you can't put the insulation on while it's sweating. So that brief period where it was before heat or after heat, before we turned on the chiller, we insulated those areas up there. The courthouse, Jamie Miller, we assisted him very briefly in his sound system replacement. Did some floor replacement here as well as in your kitchen and bathroom areas in the BOCC. Moved on to some auxiliary replacement on the starters on side A of the chiller here. First and foremost on the outside of the courthouse, Pullman, as well as our architects, we've gone through color selection is complete so that we match as closely as possible on the terracotta on the outside of the actual stone structure. Courses, I believe A through H, have all been approved and designed through Gladdy McBeam on how the terracotta mounts and will be extruded through their process so that all of the connections and the hooks and the wires on how it hangs off of the structure are completed, and those have been approved through the architects, and production on the actual terracotta has started. So that 40-week wait time from when they start production until we receive product through Gladdy McBeam, the terracotta that clock has started. So in the next 40 weeks, we should start receiving product of the terracotta that we'll start storing out by my salt dome. Once all products on site, then Pullman will start dismantling and opening the envelope of the outside of the building so that we can start replacing terracotta. Health department, we had some moisture issues in one of the rooms. It was the east side of the building where the yard backs up to it. It had a bad window, plus we had some issues on the foundation. We thought it was foundation. It's actually, once we tore the wall out, it's a block foundation. Did some repairs on that, stopped the moisture. That's good. Waiting on 2 windows to come in so we can replace those on the front side. EMS Station 2, we released an RFP for a parking lot that had an alternate for asphalt and concrete. Those bids came back. Meeting with committee later today to make a recommendation to the board on whether we'll recommend an asphalt replacement or a concrete replacement for you guys for consideration later. The Justice Center, we retubed boiler number 2. Last year we retubed boiler number 1. This year we retubed boiler number 2. Replaced refrigerant sensors on the larger chiller that does most of the building, and then did an update to the county attorney sides of the bathrooms. The original laminate on the countertops was peeling off and everything like that. We went to a hard surface. countertop on there so that hopefully it'll last just as long as the laminate did, if not longer. Sewer districts working with a developer to possibly remove a sewer district as they expand and then possibly move that district to cities. All of our pH testing through KDHD and our licensure for that were approved. And county shop garage door project was completed. Working through a CIP for all of our capital improvement plans for the next 5 years. That will be on a budget cycle that's submitted, and working on releasing an RFP for the replacement of the tipping floor out at the transfer station. Any other questions?
Mr. Bell, question. Cherie?
No.
Colton? One question. What is the current projection, or if you have a projection, for the completion of the...
11/15/2027 is the agreed upon date with the contractor. After that, they'll start incurring costs. But to open the envelope before we have the terracotta causes us to have moisture problems. Also opening it in November when we would get the product in here, because the 40-week wait time when you start calculating it out, we're into the winter time, is probably not the best solution. We're going to look and see how we are on weather, and then most likely it'll be a spring open of 2027. Open it and start the process there, and not leave it open to the weather and the ice and snow through the winter time and items like that. So it'll most likely be an opening of the outside of it, all product here on process in the spring of 27 with completion by 11/15/2027. That's the date that was agreed upon in the contract.
I apologize, I did have a question.
Very good. Okay. You don't have to apologize.
Okay. How is Jamie Miller paid for the sound system portion?
You mean like his time?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a salaried employee.
So it just came out of the health budget?
It comes out of his salary, came out of most of it comes out of EMS.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you. Appreciate it. You're doing a good job.
Thanks, Eric. Okay, Bill.
You're back.
Round 3.
We have a timer on this. 10 minutes.
I don't have jokes. I'm not funny.
Pay attention to the timer, Bill.
My wife says I'm not funny.
We know you're not funny.
Yeah. I don't have a sense of humor, apparently.
Well, money, you're not funny at all.
I don't think anybody's ever said I'm a comedian. We'll run through this very quickly.
Sure.
Road and Bridge had a couple snow events, one in January, one in February. We continued to haul rock to cover up any muddy roads as the weather permitted. Significant expenditures were on trap rock. The trap rock, as you guys know, is delivered on the railroad and then hauled to the Tonga Quarry by a contractor. We still are having a cost savings in comparison to the cost of haydite on that, but that was 7,822 tons. That's a lot of material. But we had 3 vacant positions at the time of this application. We have currently filled for an acting period of 90 days the road superintendent position with the position that was by the employee Larry Buchanan. Larry comes from us from the private sector. He had been holding the position of project manager downstairs in our offices, and he is going to assume the role of the road and bridge superintendent. He comes from Iowa Contracting and had worked on the road over the past 15 years as a superintendent, first in asphalt and then later in bridge construction. So we welcome him on out of the shop. And as you guys know, Vince Greer retired. Don't know the exact number of years he had within the KPER system between KDOT and the county. He'd been here approximately 9.5, and I believe he had 39 years of service in it.
And so when is fire chilly?
Yes. his chili is no longer now. All he did was but let's be honest. If we're going to be honest, I think Vince was not a chili eater, but he was the deliverer of the chili. There was more than one person involved in the construction of that firebomb.
It was not edible.
People ate it.
I was going to say. I watched a lot of people eat it.
You know, the entire crock pot was empty. So people watched it.
Through, Bill. They didn't eat it. It melted through the top of that thing. That thing real fast.
Well, they did throw the crock pot away because
that's where I'm going with it.
It ruined ceramic. Yeah, it was bad.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. That's a joke.
There's the joke. There's the joke of the day. Budget-wise, we're super early in the year, and we haven't got into any of our really large expenditure periods because we haven't hit asphalt, we haven't bought all the oil, and so we'll be tracking that closely over the next 2 quarters as we really use a lot of that maintenance fund money. The noxious weed department, sales have obviously picked up. It's springtime, and we are selling a lot of chemicals out there, and we'll continue to do so. One of the vacant positions was the intermittent on-call. We always hire summer help for the chemical sales to cover the office as we're having staff out mowing and cutting brush, and that has been filled over the past 2 weeks. We do have a heavy equipment operator position that is currently open. That interviews were completed over the past few days. An offer has not been extended, but will be here today.
You got some good applications?
Well, we have like 7 applications for the position.
Qualified?
I would say we had one return. We had qualified applicants. One was a former employee, and who had quit, and one guy had a CDLA, I believe. So I don't know. We have qualified applicants.
Thank you.
Thank you. The survey department is continuing to work over the course of the county to do the township surveys. High Prairie Township was completed over the past quarter, so that survey has been recorded. Every section corner has been recovered in High Prairie Township. So to Commissioner Reed's constituents, they now have the ability to survey all of their properties with known section corners. We are now working in Tonganoxie Township, and there is a map included on the progress of Tonganoxie Township currently. And the survey group, Dan and his assistant, Luke, have continued to review. They do review every survey that is recorded for the Register of Deeds, whether that's in the cities or the county. Prior to their recording of that survey, they have to be reviewed. So we continue that effort on a daily basis. Fleet management has been very busy. We've had a number of vehicles delivered over the past quarter. We have been working with Enterprise to try to project the 2027 lease costs of all the vehicles, and we are continuing the leasing and purchasing of the equipment. And I can quickly hit on the projects. The 235th Street project, as everyone knows, it's ongoing. The prime contractor, Ebert Construction, is not working on the site currently. They have pulled off of the site and discontinued grading, while Reese Construction, their subcontractor, is on the site building the second large box culvert structure. They will be returning to the site as soon as that construction is complete of the box culvert, and they can pass over the top of the box culvert. This is at their choosing. They know the number of working days that they have on the project, and they will need to make up some time when they get back on the project because they could grade around the current construction, but they've elected to pull off on another project. So we'll be watching the schedule of that project very closely. They are confident that this does not put them behind schedule for the paving this summer.
Did they address that ledge issue that person called in and reported?
That ledge is not their issue. That was a design issue. The design consultant, if you drive the roadway in its current construction, you'll see several rock ledges that they had done at that super steep slope. And they believe that knob of the hill that they had designed to be almost vertical was going to be a solid rock wedge, and then when they got into it, it was not. So it has sloughed off. So it is not necessarily the contractor's issue. We will be paying a change order because it is a design issue. It is an omission from the design based on the geotechnical report. And so we will shave that hill back to a 2-to-1 slope. We will put down the fabric and the seeding and try to establish some vegetation growth. But in order to accomplish that, we have to replace the fence and maybe lower a power pole. So because this is a KDOT project, that change order goes through the KDOT process of approval.
So that probably takes 3 years.
So it probably takes at least 3 weeks to 3 months. So we have sent the information over, and we will be addressing that prior to the road being paved, and we are very aware of the situation.
Okay, I appreciate that. Sorry to jump in.
The bridges on Golden Road, the first bridge to the east, which is the box culvert bridge, is completed. That same contractor, Reese Construction, is the contractor building the box on 235th Street. And so they aren't doing the grading or the removal of the current bridge. That is a subcontractor who has been down there working for them to remove the existing structure. They will come in as soon as the as soon as the box is completed on 235th Street, and they will build the structure, the new bridge down on Golden Road. They have been notified they are also behind schedule, and currently 4 weeks behind schedule. They believe they can make up some of that time, but they are running the risk of being into the penalty phase of their non-completion, and they have been notified as such. So we are looking at that project very closely. All the contractors are very busy, and our floating crews from one job to another. There's a ton of municipal work out there, and I think they are just accepting the fact that on some of these jobs they're going to be behind and be into a penalty. The bridge on 179th Street is going to open any day. It is pretty much completely finished. I think we're just awaiting striping out there. The A07 bridge on Lecompton Road is under construction. They're on the second head wall, and that's the prefabricated deck. So once they bring the deck in here in the coming weeks, the county is responsible for backfilling that bridge structure and graveling over the top of it. And so I anticipate that bridge opening in about 3 weeks. Next week, you will have 2 bridge contracts. We bid some bridges, HP 51 and T31, and they will be before you for approval. We received 3 bids on those bridges. Do you have any other questions on the projects?
You mentioned a penalty. How much is that penalty cost them for being late?
Well, they're different on different projects based upon the size of the project. So the penalty phase on County Route 30 is not the same. I would be a little bit of a guess. Usually they're $500 to $1,000 a day. I believe the penalty that their current schedule had them under was approximately $35,000 in penalties. But I'd have to review the contract and give that information to you. But it is written in many ways on different projects. Sometimes it's a percentage of the overall contract is one way that it's done, and sometimes it's a flat fee. But I do not recall off the top of my head. We looked at this just last week. I think it was $500 on the bridge.
I just wanted to clarify, what Bill's talking about is liquidated damages. Sometimes we'll commonly refer to it as a penalty, but it's not. It's the amount looked at the contract of how much the county is out or damaged by a delay in the project. So it does differ between projects.
Okay, all right. Thanks for clarifying that. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
And then the only other thing we have to cover is the GIS department. They do have one vacant position. It was just vacated about 2 weeks ago, and we are just starting the process to advertise for that.
What was that? What was
A
it?
GIS analyst position, analyst one, and so we are going to advertise for that position. That employee did leave without notice, and so we weren't able to advertise in advance of it. So we have got that information out on the county website, and we are actively starting that process to look for new applicants.
There was no reason given for that person leaving unannounced.
I'm just going to interject. I get very nervous when we discuss personnel here in an
Okay,
open
all right.
session. Thank you.
All right. I don't want to get nervous, so forget my question.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I didn't hear you clearly.
Never mind.
Thank you, Mr. Knoll. Your report is appreciated. Thank you. Presentation and discussion items. Before we start that, I have one concern to raise. Mr. Lawfrey, have we received a response from the military base on our offer?
We have not received a response yet, Commissioner.
Okay, so my concern is that we need to notify our elected officials of the situation. We notified them once. I think we need to notify them because the end date of this is fast approaching, and I think we appreciate the help of our elected officials. So, can you draft a letter on that?
Yes.
Okay. So the consensus of the board, do we agree with
Are we
that?
talking about the legislators?
BMS, our federal legislators.
Oh, federal legislators. Okay, all right.
So the consensus of the board is that?
I got no problem with it.
You mean as far as just send them a letter explaining what's happening?
Explaining the deadline is approaching, and we would appreciate their assistance in communicating.
We sent them the letter. We sent them the letter before, explaining where we were in the process. This is my understanding. You would like me to draft a letter that just says we're at the end,
Follow it.
and on May 1st,
Follow it.
That because certainly we would
unless
hope
something
for a
happens before May
response.
1st, the fort will be providing their own services.
So, presentation and discussion items, Commissioner Reed.
I was just wondering if the board would support what I brought up earlier in asking staff to form a policy that would include private funding that would cover 100% of the cost of the road improvements versus the current subsidized program that we currently have. If we could have both.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
when we bring I think that's what we talked about. When we bring we have to bring it to the board annually when we're getting ready to do that in October. When we bring it in October, I'll provide that option, so you have both. I think that was.
I just want to make sure we're ready,
Yep.
so I didn't know
All right.
if we could do it ahead of time.
So we got that in the hopper.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner.
So what you're talking about is how the county subsidizes part of the cost when a taxpayer wants to pay for their road to get paid. It's really not 100% of the cost. You're saying make it 100%. Okay.
We'll bring both options.
Anything else, Jeff?
I'm good.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second. Voting, Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Oh, you want us?
Oh,
Yeah, come on up.
we've got it again.
Guys that do that every day. You gotta watch it.
You try to keep on top of them.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, you talk to each other so much and laughing, I don't catch everything.
I apologize for you.
No, that's okay. I think it's, I know you want to adjourn, and I'm going to be very quick instead of what I probably would have done. But I do want to bring things back around to the data center issue again, because it's got to be clear that it is not, at the current time, something that is beneficial to the area I live in. And if that land outside of Tonganoxie gets developed that way without regulations in place for the behaviors of the people who will develop it, it will be a total betrayal of your constituents to not have more transparency from the people building, complete details of exactly what they're going to put in there and how it's going to operate, a total environmental study based on what they've got proposed and how it will affect the land and the water table and all the rest of that stuff around there. That's not how they're doing things. Their modus operandi is to just say, well, if you won't give us our subsidies and let us do it without regulation, we'll just go someplace else. Let them go. Because we don't know anything. I've spent the last couple of weeks digging into water issues. And the best thing operating out there, or I shouldn't say currently operating, I said most of the systems out there operating right now not only will use the 3 billion or the 3 million gallons of water a day that is in the literature you can find, but it also uses another 6 to 8 billion of water for power generation. It's not on our property, but it's still coming out of there. It's a big environmental impact. Then anything they want to get rid of wastewater-wise, we don't know how they plan to do it. And because they won't tell us how much they're going to generate. Do you know they still do not have to report data on water quality of what they've done? Right now, nobody's doing that. You want to ask Google what they run through their system and what kind of chemicals they put in, they won't tell you. It's proprietary. We do not have enough insight into exactly what they're going to do. How many transformers are they going to locate within the city limits to get their energy out there? Why are they using waste heat to just evaporate it into the air? There are new technologies coming that can make these things a better deal for wherever they are, but we build it now and give them all the approvals they want, and that's not what we get. We won't get state-of-the-art. We won't get zero water usage. We will not get heat recycling, which is something that they're doing in Europe right now. But if we don't have a clear idea of what they want to do and how we're going to regulate it to make sure they don't violate our rather pristine neighborhood when you get right down to it, then you gotta come up with some regulations now. You gotta come up with some requirements now. You gotta say things like, well, unless both of your primary loop and your secondary loop are closed, and you minimize water evaporation to the point with the goal of it being zero water use to operate your plant, then we don't want you. Or say things like, well, if you have to have water dumpage, we require that it meet these limits. And you can't put anything in that our wastewater treatment facility can't handle, or you have to treat it on site. We have to be ready with things like that, or we will get another system where you walk outside your door in the evening and all you hear is the hum of transformers and fans. Live there and say you want to stay there. We won't be able to stop it once it's done. And you know what else they're planning on doing in the future? They're going to downsize everything. You can't count on them as a regular source of revenue because it's going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper for them to run these things, especially if they don't have any regulations in place. And they may just decide that, Elon might set up his space stuff in the next 20 years and they'll put everything out in space. We don't have any guarantees. When you abate their taxes for 10 years, they could be gone in 5. We don't know because technology is moving so fast in that area. And we don't have any proof of good, healthy results for the community, financial results for the community, or financial results for their citizens, or health results for their citizens. Everywhere you look, property values are going down and costs are going up for the residents. We cannot let them just run over us with this.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
I didn't get your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim Colbert Tonganoski. I've been
Oh,
here
Miss
before,
Lord.
I thought you would know.
Oh, Miss Lord, Kim.
Kim Colbert, Colvert.
Colbert.
Okay, are you under the assumption, or you have any information that says that we're not going to do the thing that you are asking?
We don't know because nobody's telling us anything.
And that's because
Because you signed a non-disclosure? No, just because you haven't started getting it out there.
Until we have been, I'll call requisitioned, okay, that this is going to happen, okay.
That's too late.
Hold on. Until we have been requisitioned that this is going to happen, we don't have a formal statement to give to anyone. However, that does not say that we are not, even individually, looking into this to where we can have some answers to make those.
We don't know that.
Hold on. To make those recommendations for regulations. And it sounds like the more I'm hearing, I'm not speaking for anyone else, that I'm hearing is that the assumption is that we're being irresponsible.
No.
Hold on.
You're taking too much time with this. Spit it out.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, that we're being irresponsible in our due diligence in finding out the do's and don'ts before anything comes to fruition that is put together.
Okay.
Now I'm finished.
Okay. That's fine. I don't consider you irresponsible. I consider you uninformed. And if you are being informed, then we need to see proof that you are getting all of the information you need to make something appropriate for our area. And we don't know even how any of you feel about whether or not it should be here. So if you cannot give us a better insight into what you're learning, what you know, give us an idea what the pros are if you think you're pro for it. Give it an idea what you think the cons are.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
That's it.
Thanks for coming and keep coming because we want to hear from constituents. And we are still learning the process. But I did have a couple things that I wanted to add to this.
Okay.
Number one, when the gentleman was here at our 6-hour meeting that we had on a work session from the Department of Commerce, he was very specific, and he said that if the local community doesn't want it, then we don't want to push it. That's exactly what he said. And I'm taking a survey of my district, and the survey says 9-1 that the people in my district don't want it. So that is, if you go by the Department of Commerce, he would say that we shouldn't push this. The other thing is, I've received information. There was a gentleman that invited all of the commissioners to join him on a trip to see data centers up north, and portrayed himself that he was ambivalent about the issue. But he's the ranch manager at the I don't want to name him, but the Tailgate Ranch.
Yeah.
The ranch manager is saying that he's ambivalent about it and is going to take people to see the data centers up north in Omaha. And I'm thinking, let's be honest. Honest is you're lobbying on one side of the issue. You are not ambivalent. When you came to my town hall meeting, you stated a position, and I believe you were at the town hall meeting and you heard what he said. It wasn't ambivalent. He was in favor. So when you're telling the commissioners that you want to take him on a trip because you want to just consider the issue, no, you're lobbying on behalf of the data center. The other thing is, I've learned, and I've been learning, that the closed loop system uses 25% more electricity than the open system for water. So what that means is, even if you're not using more water locally in Tonganoxie, you're using more water somewhere in Kansas. And I also learned from the KCC when they were here that they consider themselves to be economic regulators. They don't take into consideration water. And I've talked to the gentleman from the Sierra Club. We don't have a state water plan. So we're just letting this industry run wild in the state of Kansas. And then I also learned from our work session that Senate Bill 98 is the only reason they want to come into Kansas. They said it's very lucrative, but we wouldn't even come into Kansas if it wasn't for Senate Bill 98. They're receiving a subsidy to come into Kansas, and that's
a sales tax.
We're paying these people to come into Kansas, and this is multi-billionaires we're paying. And what benefit is it for Kansas? And the other thing is, here's what I say about the process. And we know that this is a behind-the-back process because we had legislators that wrote a bill early in the session and presented it, House Bill 2664, which was on campus, off-grid electricity. So we know that they knew that this was coming, but did the people of Tonganoxie know? Our own legislator didn't even tell us that this was coming. And so I know that this isn't like something, this just came up, No, this has been planned for a very, very long time because you don't have time to write legislation if you haven't planned ahead. Then the other thing is, where are we in the process of developing rules? A couple of weeks ago, we were told that we were going to have some rules and regulations brought in front of us, and I have not seen that, or where are we in that process?
Well, Commissioners, if this is going to be a work session on data centers, I'd like to bring more information in.
It's not a work session, it's a question. You told me 2 weeks ago we were going to have some regulations brought here.
And I will, and we will. That's been the point.
Where are they?
We're working on them, Commissioner. When they're ready, we'll bring them forward. I'm interested that we continue to bring up all this information. We had a work session. We had a really good work session, I thought, and that we continue to work towards it. We have no application. There's nothing secretive going on. When we get the application, we will work through that appropriately. We're working on regulations. We will bring those to the Board of County Commissioners when they're ready. We're not ready yet. It takes a little time to draft these things.
We have
reaching out.
We have no application. That's true.
Yes.
We have no application.
We're reaching out.
But the folks from Cloverleaf are flying in today, and they're going to be meeting with commissioners.
Let them finish, please.
We're reaching out to communities who have these to see what they've ran into, some of their best practices that they can pass along. That takes time. That's what we're working on. That's what we're trying to get these regulations.
But we need to be honest with our constituents. If Cloverleaf's flying in.
When you say we need to be honest, that means that you think that we're not being honest.
Yes.
And I am being honest, and I'm being forthright.
And I will explain.
And I will also say that we are also taking tours. We're going and visiting as staff. We're going to visit these locations to see are the issues that the constituents are bringing up, are they legitimate? We're going to do those things. We're working through it. And I encourage the commissioners to do the same thing. Go visit. There's one in just south of Smithville on the Missouri side. It's brand new and it just started in August. It started processing data. It is the most current one in the area. Right. You can go visit. It's 35 minutes. You don't need to drive to Nebraska. It is nearly exactly what's being proposed as far as size-wise currently in what's coming to the county. So you have these opportunities. We're taking those opportunities. We will do our due diligence. We are not working behind the scenes with anybody. We're no way, in no shape or form, going to allow a company to come into the county without regulations and just say, here it is. We're not, as they presented in the 6-hour meeting, they're not asking for any tax incentives, nor would I recommend any, for exactly what you said. They're the wealthiest companies in the world. Why would we give them tax incentives? The part of the presentation that didn't get to happen during our 6-hour work session is what we're looking at tax-wise on these. In what we have, as far as we know today, they will pay somewhere around $14 million a year in property taxes to all taxing entities.
Yes.
$14 million a year. They will buy their water from the city of Tonganoxie is what they're working on. They will put their wastewater to the city of Tonganoxie. Tonganoxie will deal with that. They will buy their electricity from Evergy. Evergy will deal with that part. It's heavily regulated. They put in the tariffs to make sure that it doesn't impact the local tax or payer rates. We went through all that, and we will continue to go through all of it. We are not at a point where we're making any kind of decisions. Hold on,
let me reclaim my time a minute.
Okay.
So, here's the deal why folks feel like that it's not honest. Because we have, here, let me explain why people feel, this is the way people feel. They feel it's not honest because we say as an excuse that there's no application been made. Nobody's even made an application. But behind the scenes, Cloverleaf is flying in. They're talking to the city. They're talking to the county. They're negotiating behind the scenes. I don't even know what the negotiation is. And there are a lot of pieces to this that feel very hidden. And that's the way the people in Tonganoxie feel. And if you need someone to explain where I stand on this issue.
No, I got it.
So, Commissioner, my understanding is you're meeting with Cloverleaf today at 5 o'clock?
I am.
And we have two other commissioners who are meeting with Cloverleaf today at 1 o'clock, Commissioner Culberson, Commissioner Reed. Just so we're being upfront about it.
Right.
They came in to meet with you to answer any questions, not to negotiate any deals. They have to meet with you one-on-one, or it has to be another 6-hour meeting if you'd like that. But this is wide open. They're meeting.
It's always a meeting, and I'm driving to Hutchinson tonight
And I'm
for a meeting.
thank you. See, I want to hear that. I will go back to my constituents, the people I caucus with, sitting in the library.
What I'm saying is we're doing our due diligence. We're working through it. The commissioners are doing their due diligence. Yes, they're meeting with Cloverleaf. They've met with the KCC. They're meeting with Evergy. That's just part of the
You're
due diligence.
hearing the good stuff.
And we're also hearing the stuff that all of the constituents.
And that's why we're here.
So-
That's why I'm here, is to make sure that stuff stays at top of mind.
But to the people of Tonganoxie, money is not the main issue. The issue is our community. And that's the 5th district. I've pulled even up to Easton all the way. I'm sending surveys out, and my surveys are 9-1 opposed to this because of what it does to our community.
Commissioner,
Yes.
Chairman, have we seen those surveys so we can?
It's my personal survey for my district.
Your personal survey. Okay.
No, I mail out. I mail out to my constituents.
If it's not public survey, then if it's not a public survey, then how are we to assess as to how it's going to affect?
You can come into my office and look at them. I mailed them out to constituents.
Is that a quick question? I know we're not supposed to interact with the public comments. Have you been to the Smithville desk?
No, I was
or any
looking
of the
at
other?
trying to get to the, what is it, Papillon, or Papillon, how in Nebraska, because their story sounded so familiar, and they are experiencing the giant creep of multiple data centers.
Have you
And
been?
I have not been
Have you
to Smithville, I
physically?
didn't know about
Have you
it.
physically visited any desk?
No, you can't get very close. I wanted to get someplace where I could get close enough to take a sound level reading.
We'll take you through them.
It's not hard to do.
One little.
That's
one
been
little
done
thing. Well, it is out of the one in North Kansas City. It's kind of difficult to get too close to that one. You say Tonganoxie water supply will do this. You do realize that all that property is zoned for suburban. Is that something that suburban knows about?
I think all that's discussion items that.
I'm just throwing it out there. And the biggest thing I
that-
have against it is the 2 years plus of industrial, heavy industry construction that'll be going on, raising the dust, all the trucks, all the.
Thank you for coming. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
I think we'll just keep going on and on and on.
Second.
I second.
Voting.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.